One Belt, One Road, the South Asia trip of the ambassadors of culture from China to spread the Buddha-dharma around the world. Light of wisdom from the Buddha shine through the universe. Religious exchange to reconnect through Dharma. On April 1st, 2015, the Lord Abbot came to the Dhaka International Airport personally with some of his disciples, including the Bangladesh DIG of Police, Mr. Prakita Ranjya Baru, to welcome the arrival of the Master and also to invite the Master to visit the Dhammarajika Buddhist monastery complex. On April 3rd, the Master and his disciples visited the Dhammarajika Buddhist monastery complex. The Lord Abbot welcomed the Master with the grandest ceremony. The Dhammarajika Buddhist monastery complex is the biggest monastery in Bangladesh. The Lord Abbot of the monastery, Sanghanayaka Sudananda Mahathara, is over 80 years old. He is the Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, President of Bangladesh Balda Christi Prikasaha, and also renowned Buddhism leader in South Asia. In his dedication speech to the Master, he said, "During my meditation, my Guru and a Venerable Atisa told me, you do not know the Vajra Master金珂玄雷is the Dhammakaya embodiment, of which Buddhistava yet. When you had attained enlightenment, you will know. Bangladesh is a nation with a great population, and Buddhists here merely practices Theravada Buddhism. It doesn't matter whether you are practicing the Theravada, the Mahasamgika, or Vajrayana Buddhism. They're all teachings of the Buddha. These teachings are only the different methods set for sentient beings with different temperament and different levels of awakening attained. We're all disciples of the Buddha, and we're a family sharing the common vow to propagate the teachings of the Buddha." A thunder shower blessed the city of Dhaka on the same day the Master arrived in Bangladesh. Before the Master's arrival in Bangladesh, we have not seen rain for more than 2 months. This thunder shower is extraordinary nectar of Dharma brought by the Master for the people of Bangladesh. The Lord Abbot continued to say, Esoteric Buddhism is the most extraordinary sector of Mahayana Buddhism. The Vajra Master金珂玄雷is the Mahasiddha of Sino-Esoteric Buddhism, who had come from the deep mountains. He had brought with him the Vajra wisdom of Tathagata to give salvation to sentient beings in the earthly realm. In the age of Mappo, even when such a man is present, it is to endure jealousy, slander, interference and destruction from demons who are pretending to be Buddhists. The Vajra Master Shanley had conquered great difficulties and overcame many obstacles and difficulties. This time, he had fly across the Himalayas to propagate the Buddha-dharma and give salvation to all willing. He had brought the Buddha's Vajra seed of knowledge to India and Bangladesh. This is an extraordinary causation. Excited by the presences of the Master, the Lord Abbot put the Master's hand on his chest and said, "It is a most honor to be able to invite the Master to visit our monastery. It gives honor to the Bangladesh Buddhism Society as well. I have no gifts of important value to offer to the Master, only the gift of my devoted heart to offer." The Master said, "Your words are too kind. I'm not a Mahasiddha, but a simple practitioner of Sino-Esoteric Buddhism. I'm still practicing the Buddha-dharma just the same as you are. The exchange between Buddhists of China and Bangladesh goes back ages in history. The Venerable Monk Silabhadra and the Venerable Monk Atisa were all renowned sages when Buddhism flourished in ancient Bangladesh time. Both of these sages had deep Dharma connections with China. The Venerable Monk Silabhadra taught the doctrines of Yogacara to the Venerable Xuanzang in the ancient Nalanda monastery for 5 years. The Venerable Monk Atisa is renowned in India for studied almost all Buddhist and non-Buddhist schools of his time, including teachings from Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Tantric Hinduism, and other practices. The Venerable Monk Atisa traveled thousands of miles over mountains and rivers and crossed the Himalayas to reach the Tibetan region in China to propagate esoteric Buddhism. His efforts and teachings made the Renaissance in Buddhism in Tibet possible and benefited generations to come. The spirit of Atisa is revered by all Buddhists. The purpose of our trip to Bangladesh is to walk in the footsteps of Venerable Atisa and also to reconnect with the Buddhist Society of Bangladesh through Dharma. When the Lord Abbot heard the Master had mentioned the Venerable Atisa, he told the Master as early as 1963, I had followed my Guru to Beijing to attend the Asian Buddhist Conference. When Prime Minister Zhou Enlai met with us, my Guru mentioned to the Prime Minister about the Venerable Atisa, who had great historical contributions in the friendship in between Bangladesh and China. He also expressed his wish to welcome back some relics of the Venerable Atisa back to Bangladesh for worship. The Prime Minister said yes and gave his consent by asking Mr. Zhao Puchu, who was the Secretary of Buddhist Association of China in that time, to work out the details. In June of 1978, the Buddhist Society of Bangladesh gathered at the Dhammarajika Buddhist Monastery for the great welcoming ceremony of the relics of the Venerable Atisa. Even after half a century had passed, I could still remember the day as yesterday. The Master's visit to Bangladesh today had opened another new chapter in exchange of Buddhists between Bangladesh and China. The Lord Abbot asked the Master to bless him by touching his head with the Master's hand. Filled with compassion, the Master planted the wisdom seed of Bodhi for the Abbot. The Master prayed for the Abbot to accumulate enough merits daily to be able to attain awakening soon. Shortly after, the Lord Abbot led the Master on a short tour through the monastery, including a reverence look of the Venerable Atisa's Sarira and the manuscripts of Sutra by the Venerable Atisa. The Master praised the Lord Abbot for his life's work in Buddhism, and then said, religion had been part of the human development for thousands of years. It is deeply rooted in human society. No matter which religion you believe, most of the doctrine in major religions all encourage people to be kind and to reach for peace, and they are all pure. In every religious group, there are some disciples who are full of ignorance and pride. Their mind is plagued by evil thoughts, but we should not reject any religion just based on the ignorant actions of a few disciples. Cause conflicts, face ignorance with ignorance. This should also be the same for different political parties. The subjective consciousness of a single person cannot represent an entire party or group. Those comes from his or her own karma. Moreover, as long as different religions agree to try to find the commonalities in their doctrines, conflicts will not rise just because the face of their religions are different. Believers of different religions won't use doctrines to oppress another, but coexist in mutual respect, mutual understanding, mutual kindness and mutual trust, which will lead to peaceful and harmonious coexistence. Thereafter, the Master and the Lord Abbot exchanged gifts to each other. The Master presented a divine painting and calligraphy of Jinka Mandala to the Lord Abbot and gave auspicious bead bracelets to the monks of the monastery as seeds of Bodhi. All came up to the Master to pay prostration and ask the Master to bless them by touching their heads. By the invitation of the Lord Abbot, the Master led his disciples to the square of the Buddha statue to start the extraordinary praying ceremony of Sino-Esoteric Buddhism Mandala, to pray for the people of Bangladesh, to pray for the peaceful friendship between China and Bangladesh.